86-page book against privatization, of course. I'll touch upon only 4 important topics in that. One is why there was nationalization. Number 2, why nationalization. Then what are the gains of nationalization and why privatization. In a recent bid for privatization in which Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated that his government has no business to be in business and their mantra going forward would be monetize and modernize. The process has gained momentum after this clarification and approach adopted by Niti Aayog in synchronization with the government's new strategies of privatization and asset monetization. Along with the timelines of privatization, sources said that the report submitted by Niti Aayog shall entail a plan of majority outright sale, strategic deals, monetizing assets and even share buybacks. The whole plan is made keeping in mind the disinvestment target which is set at 1.75 trillion for the next fiscal year. Privatization of 2 public sector banks and 1 general insurance company was announced by Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman in her budget speech. Niti Aayog under the new public enterprises policy for Atmanirbhar Bharat has mandated to recommend the names of PSUs in strategic sectors to be privatized, merged or made subsidiaries or other PSUs. Strategic sectors of atomic energy, space, defense, transport, telecommunication, power, petroleum, coal, banking, insurance and financial services are the sectors in which the government intends to keep a bare minimum presence. Now as per the recommendations of Niti Aayog, Central Bank of India and Indian Overseas Bank have been recommended for privatization. The goal of the discussion of my book is to enhance the awareness to generate inquiring minds, to galvanize our fight against government privatization move in general and privatization of Indian Overseas Bank and Central Bank of India in particular. Pursuant to the same objective, LBA Subsidiary Act was passed in 1959, which enabled State Bank of India to take over associate banks as its subsidiaries. Thus, the period 1959 to 1955 to 1959 marked the beginning of public sector banking. The aforesaid step provided a fillip to provisions of the credit to rural sector and also expansion of bank branches. This was the government introduced the scheme Social Control in 1968. That is why 246 insurance companies were also taken in 1956 with the formation of LIC and to organize fiscal control more tightly as per the goals set by the Tata Birla Bombay Plan. Nationalization of 14 major banks became a necessity. Anyhow, if not nationalized, many private banks would have collapsed like cookies. The share of agricultural credit was 2% in 1951 and remained unchanged till 1967, whereas the share of industry increased from 34% in 1951 to 64% in 1967. Rupees 50 crore deposit was set as the threshold for nationalization. We also decided to leave out AFG, red list and foreign banks from the list. These economic conditions led to the government to devalue rupee from 4.76 per US dollar to 7.50 US dollar in 1966. Widespread famine in 1967, the widespread revolt presently uprising in the same year found the rulers panic-stricken with the spectre of socialist movement haunting them. The PL 480 grain doles have by now got thoroughly discredited as a source of funding CIA operations within the country. An alternative has to be found. The Green Revolution was an answer to some of the potential Red Revolution. Besides, imperialist agri-business sought to change their strategy for the sale of grain PL 480 style to promotion of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides and tractors. The initiation of the Green Revolution, the government appointed Mahanabis Committee to look into the precarious conditions of the private banks. The Mahanabis Committee recommended what they are recommending today. Besides handing over a standard formula, is to reduce flap, trim the size. It suggested reduce the flap and trim the size. Amalgamation of less private profit-making banks with others. This resulted in the number of banks reduced from 605 in 1950 to 423 in 1956, 292 in 1961, 102 in 1966, on the eve of the nationalization to just 86. Even Indian Overseas Bank to initiate imperially sponsored Green Revolution. A vast network of rural banking was set up, first to promote the Green Revolution, second to take the surplus created to channelize into savings for the use of the government and big business for infrastructural development. Besides linked to this, the focus of rural development changed from asset generation to poverty alleviation. This coincided with Indira Gandhi's slogan, Garibi Hatao. While in the first two decades the focus was on irrigation, land development, etc., now the focus changed to poverty alleviation schemes like IRDP, Jawahar Rozgar Yojana, Indira Vikas Yojana, etc. All these schemes are intricately linked with bank lending and finance, necessitating a wide network of branches. So both Green Revolution and the so-called poverty alleviation scheme, employment generation, were geared to extend the market commodities, which keeping us much old feudal relations, rather than allowing the banks to engage in commodity futures trading and exempting the bank sector for the scrutiny of Competition Commission of India was dropped. First, the draft amendment bill as introduced in Parliament seeks to drop completely the Section 12(2) of the Banking Regulation Act. No person holding shares in the banking industry shall, in respect of any shares held by them, exercise voting rights on a poll excess of 10% of the total voting rights of all the shareholders of the banking industry. Capping this 10% to individual voting rights would permit those shareholders having a stake in excess of 10% to exercise voting rights proportionate to the shareholding. Because of the opposition to the clause, the bill was finally passed and decided to move one step forward while retaining the restriction on voting rights that is also below the ceiling of equity ownership in states. In subsection 2, the following provision was inserted. Provided the Reserve Bank may increase in a phased manner the such ceilings of voting rights from 10% to 26%. The happenings in the banking industry over the past decade will amply evidence that the above prescriptions of IMF, World Bank are faithfully implemented by the government in power since 1990. Why privatization? टक्कर पे संघर्ष हमारा नारा है, हर जोर जुल्म के टक्कर पे संघर्ष हमारा नारा है. Nationalization of all banks we demand. Nationalization of all banks we demand. Thank you very much.
All the things in 10, 15, 20 minutes, everything about the privatization, those known and unknown things was known about what is going to be in privatization. Thank you, sir, once again. First of all, we'll release the book. What sir has written that, sir, we can release the book.
And my dear all friends, we all have gathered here. I have got opportunity to meet you all, my old friends. The topic is regarding privatization. Privatization is going on in the market. News is there. When it's going to pass, maybe tomorrow when you come in parliament. In 69, bank was nationalized. When 69 bank was nationalized, the deposit was 50 crore of the bank and it was nationalized.
This is regarding IOB's privatization. There are two ways. One is fighting in the road. Another is to give publicity to IOB. It's a very good bank. So I thought that 108 is a very sacred number in Hindu mythology. There are 108 names of all the gods and goddesses are there. So 108, I written 108 things about 108 number and 108 things about Indian Overseas Bank. How strong, how nice is the bank, how it is a pleasure to work in Indian Overseas Bank. And you will find out that 108 and IOB look the similar format. So this book has been written by me to popularize that IOB, what are the good things IOB has done in the 85 years of its purposeful existence. I retired from the bank in 2012. I was the General Secretary of the recognized union for 33 years. For 25 years as the General Secretary and for the remaining years as the activist of the union. I was also the workman director in the board 2 times, one in 1991 and another in 2014. So, and from that day onwards, I have somehow or other I had an affinity to the SCST employees upbringing, and most of the promotion policies with the reservation protected, I played a vital role in that. Today our accounts are frozen by the bank because there are rival groups of mushroom in our organization. So we cannot even withdraw the money of our own funds from our own bank. Now with that, all these things we have brought it through friends crowdfunding, and I personally took a pension loan from the Indian Overseas Bank around 3 lakh rupees pension loan, and with that we have brought all these publications, meetings, paying for the hall, everything we have done it, and every month 4,000 rupees goes as installment towards that. I'm sorry I spoke a lot, and I documented it and read it out because time, so with that I can do the time management. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for the encouragement given to us. We feel totally happy about all of you have come and together time and value time.